Hey guys, what's up? This is Brandon from Tier 1. Customer contacted me asking for a shop that could do a big build on a Cummins. We have a bunch of them of our own. We've done them for other guys too, so I reached out and said, hey, what do you want? Long story short, guy wants 1,200 horsepower. He had another shop do a bunch of work to it, and it looks like they just kind of grabbed the magazine and threw a bunch of parts at it. That's not the way I would set it up, not the way we would set it up here for what he wants to use the truck for. But he had a motor built for it. He has about 1,900 miles on it sitting here. It would chunk a bunch out the catch can with coolant, oil, just didn't really make the power it was supposed to make, and obviously had some internal issues with it on a brand new build. So he brought it down here. Troy got it ripped out in like a day. Kind of went and started going through this. We pulled the head off it just to kind of see what we were working with. We are gonna help him out, reuse some of his parts. His pistons and rods should all be good. We got a new block from D&J here, D&J head on order, and we're gonna do big injectors, pump, all that good stuff. So it's basically gonna mirror the build we have in the V10. What we did find though, just pulling the head off of this thing, so it was fire ringed, which is fine. But if you go in here and start looking at them, you may not be able to see it on the video, but there's divots in all these fire rings, which realistically shouldn't be there. Most of the time you pull a fire ring out, and we have done it in the past in a pinch on our personal stuff, is reused them. But with these divots and dents in them, we went to go look at the head and see if maybe the head had something stuck in the grooves. I just don't know if they were machined wrong or what, but yeah, the fire rings shouldn't really come out that way. The other thing we ran into, Troy was pulling the studs out, and you can kind of see it here. They put thread sealant down in the stud holes instead of using fastener lube like you should have, and it seems as though they bottomed them all out. None of these studs go into a coolant port, so there's no need for a thread sealant on it. In my opinion, it was just done wrong. Just the wrong shop for the job. But the other thing we found, once you start looking at the deck in here, you could tell, yeah, obviously it wasn't heavily machined, but they went in and you could see in here that this isn't factory or machine shop machining. There's a very specific finish these blocks need to have. They went in here with a buzz wheel and just knocked down gasket material or rust or whatever they were trying to do there. Right out of the gate, we have a deck surface that wasn't done properly. We have fire rings that for some reason are all funky and just not really what they should have been, which is probably explaining some of his coolant system pressure issues and puking it. And then the studs, obviously that's another red flag. Nothing, just, it's not, oh my God, this is gonna cause a failure. It's just not done right. So it leads you to look deeper. The other thing we noticed is the cross hatching in the cylinders. You still have staining where they didn't really clean them up very well, if at all. But if you start looking in here, cross hatching should be pretty consistent. And what you can see here is that some of the machine marks in here are very prominent and some of them aren't. You have, especially in this cylinder here, there was some of the cross hatching is dang near flat and some of it's upwards of 45 degrees. I'm not a machinist. I can't tell you what it's supposed to be, an exact number. That's not what I do. But I can tell you right now, they shouldn't be flat and they shouldn't be all over the place like that. And you shouldn't have heavier scratches than you have underneath them. The pistons look fine. Hopefully the skirts look fine when we get this apart. The other thing we noticed is there's a bunch of, you could maybe see some of that shininess in the bowl that came from the fuel system. He's getting a new fuel system anyways, so that's just something else to note. The other thing is that this cylinder right here was actually sleeved. Apparently somebody went to do a coolant bypass on this, and instead of knocking out the freeze plug like a normal human, they decided to drill through it and then continue to drill right through the cylinder. So the shop went in and put a sleeve in one hole, and it doesn't seem like they did that quite right either because it's not exactly level on the deck. So a lot of little stuff. We'll keep tearing this thing down as we get the bottom end apart, and we'll revisit with you guys. I'm hoping we don't find anything drastic in the bottom end because we want to reuse his rods, we want to reuse his pistons. We've already got parts showing up, like I said, a D&J head. We have a bare block here. We hope to turn this thing around. He's actually gonna come grab the truck now that we've got the motor out of it, take it to the body shop, get a new paint job. So he wants to do it right. He brought it here. We're gonna take care of all of this and get him on the road. And this thing should make about 1,200 horsepower or so is the game plan with it. So stay tuned as we keep tearing into this and start getting it built back up, and we'll see you then.